Just under a year ago, I made a video titled I Am Jealous of Chelsea. And in that video, if memory serves me correctly, I detailed some of the aspects of Chelsea's performance at the time that I was really impressed with. Because believe it or not, they were flying high in the table. And a lot of people were saying they were in a title race, even though I didn't necessarily believe it because it was still very early on in the season. But nevertheless, I gave them praise. I talked about their attack. I talked about their midfield. I talked about their squad building that summer and the aspects of the way their club was being run that I was impressed with, despite the fact that Todd Boehly is not very popular amongst rivals and amongst Chelsea fans, if we're having honest debates and conversations and we're not, looking through the red-tinted glasses, right? Fast forward to where we are now, obviously a lot has changed, and I think we are overdue, or more than overdue, a conversation about Chelsea Football Club. And I think where I want to start before I talk about their recent results and where I think Chelsea go from here is just to talk about their squad building and revisit some of the opinions I had in the summer versus where we are now. Now, first and foremost, let's start and go with Robert Sanchez. I think he's been okay. I think he's actually been one of Chelsea's most improved players. But I don't think Robert Sanchez is the keeper or the guy that Chelsea need if they are serious about challenging for trophies, major trophies. I'm not talking about the Club World Cup, a preseason competition that before Chelsea won it, nobody used to celebrate the way that they do. And I'm certainly not talking about the Conference League. I'm talking about the FA Cup. I'm talking about the Champions League. I'm talking about the Premier League. I don't think Robert Sanchez is the guy who's going to get you consistently winning those trophies, in my humble opinion. As good as he's been recently and as solid as he's been for Chelsea, I just think there are aspects of his goalkeeping that leave a lot to be desired, especially when you compare him with the current teams that are above Chelsea. Let's compare it to Liverpool. Alisson is better than Robert Sanchez. Emi Martinez, I'm sorry to say, is better than Robert Sanchez. Now, I know, bozo gene, mistakes. Sanchez is the biggest bozo. He's a walking bozo gene. So don't talk to me about bozo genes when it comes to Emi Martinez as if Sanchez doesn't have a mistake in him as well. Like, did you see his performance against Arsenal? He made some good saves, fair enough, but his inability to collect crosses sometimes and his bozo moments for me, I feel like Martinez is better. Martinez has done more in the game for me personally at the elite level. I mean, his performance in the World Cup for Argentina alone trumps this argument, right? So for me, Martinez is better. Lemens, for me, in the short space of time that he's been in the Premier League, from when he signed for Man United to where we are now, has been better than Sanchez. I'm sorry to say. We've only lost 2 games in the Premier League since Lemens has been starting games consistently. 8 draws, 11 wins. Now, most of those draws came under the terrorist, he who shall not be named, the Portuguese sufferman, the guy who apparently laid the foundation for what Carrick is doing now, which I think is a ridiculous take. He's been better, okay? That's my point. He's been better than Robert Sanchez. You might disagree with that, but you can't disagree that Donnarumma has been better. You can't disagree that Raya has been better. So my point is, out of the top 5 keepers, at least 3 are certainly better than Robert Sanchez. Arguably 5 are better than Robert Sanchez. It's not a debate. Sanchez is not good enough for where Chelsea should be going, considering the amount of money they've spent. Reece James, I rate him very highly. I really, really do. And I know that he's been a lot more fit. He's played a lot more football recently. I think he's one of the best right backs in the world. But again, Chelsea can't rely on him alone. You need depth. You need options behind Reece James because he will start to get injured at some point. And I don't wish injury on him. I don't want him to get injured, even as a rival fan. I think Reece James is a joy to watch, and I'm suspending my Manchester United fandom for a moment, just to be fair. I think Reece James is really good, but he's not enough. Like, you guys don't have enough squad depth in that position. Same on the opposite side. Marc Cucurella, I rate him very highly, but I don't think Gusto has been good ever since the first few games he had at Chelsea, or the first few months that he played at Chelsea. That purple patch where I thought he was really good, a lot of that has disappeared. A lot of the aspects of his game that I thought he was showing then, he's not showing now. So Malo Gusto, for me, has not been a good cover for the boy Cucurella. Hato, I thought was really good, to be fair, against Arsenal. But I haven't watched enough of Chelsea recently to say whether or not Hato has been a definitively good signing. I don't think Chalobah is a bad player, but I don't think Chalobah is the player who should be starting week in, week out for Chelsea if they are serious about being a top 4 team and then propelling themselves into title conversations. I think the same could be said of Colwill. Now, I like Colwill. I think there is a lot of potential there, but I'm still not convinced. And obviously, he's injured at the moment. I'm still not convinced when it comes to Colwill. And speaking of injuries, Wesley Fofana, the one centre-back that I actually do rate that Chelsea have, and I thought was a really good signing despite the high transfer fee, I don't think he's enough on his own. Needless to say, right? I think Chelsea's biggest problem is that they don't have a solid centre-back partnership that is as good, if not better, than all of the top 5 teams currently, right? And I mean, when I say top 5 teams, I'm not talking about the big 6. I mean the actual top 5 currently in the league, the teams that are above Chelsea. I don't think Chelsea's centre-backs are better, definitively better, like no debate better than Man United centre-backs, Arsenal centre-backs. Okay, Villa maybe, to be fair. Villa, I'll give you that one. Who else? Man City, and of course Liverpool. I don't think Chelsea can with a straight face say that they have better centre-backs. The midfield, this is the contrast. This is where Chelsea shine. This is why I made that video several months ago talking about the fact that I was jealous about Chelsea, because this is the one aspect of their team that I rate very highly. I think Santos has been really good. Caicedo's been really good. I think Caicedo's better than Declan Rice. Say it quietly before the Arsenal fans get mad. I think Caicedo is so underrated, man. I think he's so good. I really, really do. I think he, for me, is the best DM in the league. Enzo Fernandez, I rate him as well. I think he's been really decent for Chelsea as well. Cole Palmer, for me, is the only midfielder in Chelsea's team, and maybe Romeo Lavia just because of the injuries. But Cole Palmer specifically, I think is the only midfielder, if you count him as a midfielder for Chelsea, that you can say has been really poor. And he hasn't just been poor this season. He's been poor for a while now. I think for about 18 months, possibly more. He's been horrendous, right? And I still rate Palmer. I think he will eventually go back to the form that we once saw. But I don't know, man. Between his lack of fitness and the fact that he hasn't really had a stable front three to play behind this season, coupled with the fact that Chelsea have just had so many managers in the time that Cole Palmer's been there. And also just the fact that he doesn't look very happy, if I'm being honest. Cole Palmer doesn't look like a player to me who's buying into the Chelsea project. He doesn't look like a player to me who is desperate to stay at Chelsea and desperate to build with what Chelsea's project is for the future. He seems like a player to me who's just going through the motions. And if anything, his only motivation to play football at the moment is trying to get into the World Cup squad. Despite his injuries, despite his need for surgery, despite everything that's going on at the moment, that seems to be the only thing that's driving Cole Palmer, in my opinion. Just an honest observation, right? I think Cole Palmer's been awful. Then we get into the attack. And this is perhaps, much like Chelsea's defense, the aspect of their squad building where it is just a complete and utter shambles. João Pedro is quite literally the only attacker I rate. And I know that Chelsea fans are going to be screaming at the screen, what about Esteval? But the truth is, I, as a United fan, haven't seen enough of Esteval yet to definitively say that, oh my God, this kid is going to have an amazing future. Now, to be fair, the few games I have seen of him, there was that Crystal Palace game where he ran the full length of the pitch and scored a delightful goal. There's a couple of good performances as well. He looks like a bright young talent. He looks like Chelsea's one of Chelsea's most dangerous attackers behind João Pedro this season in the few moments that I've seen him. However, again, keyword, few moments. I have not watched enough of Chelsea to see Esteval play week in, week out. If memory serves me correctly, he doesn't really start that many games. He didn't start that many games under Maresca, and he certainly hasn't started that many games under Liam Rosner, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't really know if the level of hype that Esteval gets from Chelsea fans is worth paying too much attention to at this point in time. I think he's only is that like 7 GA in all competitions? I'm just looking at his stats from Chelsea, 32 appearances, only 7 GA. I don't know. For me, I'm not that impressed, right? I'm not that impressed. And then I don't need to talk about Delap. I don't need to talk about Garnacho. I don't need to talk about the god-awful signings that Chelsea have made. Now, before I do end the video, these are Chelsea's upcoming games. They've got Villa away, which I don't think any honest Chelsea fan can definitively say they're definitely going to win that game. They've got the PSG game, which will be very, very difficult. And I think Newcastle at home is a game that Chelsea should win, but it's not going to be an easy game. I can see Chelsea drawing that game. I can see Chelsea dropping points in that game. I can see Chelsea struggling at Everton away. I can see Chelsea getting beat by Man City. I can even see Chelsea struggling to us, United. Now, I know we don't have a great record at Stamford Bridge recently. If memory serves me correctly, we haven't won there in a while. But based on current form, I don't think Chelsea fans can honestly just write Man United off and be like, that's going to be an easy 3 points. I think you'd be insane to say that, right? I think Brighton away is a bit of a spicy fixture. Nottingham Forest, they should win that one. And Liverpool, well, we'll see. We'll see, because by the time they play Liverpool, Chelsea will either start to pick up momentum and be on a really good run of form. Therefore, they could go there and get a result, and Liverpool could be crap. Both teams could be good. Or Chelsea could be as bad as they are now, and Liverpool could be the one who's picked up a run of games. Who knows? But I think this Chelsea versus Liverpool game, it's hard to call this far out. Until that point, I don't really think Chelsea have games that are winnable, that are like guaranteed 3 points at the moment. And that's the worrying thing for Chelsea at the moment, right? I just don't know where they get the points they need to actually finish in the top 5 ahead of Liverpool, possibly in the top 4 ahead of Aston Villa, and maybe, just maybe, catch Manchester United if a catastrophe happens and Manchester United collapse, because that's very possible. As good as Manchester United are at the moment, it's not a foregone conclusion that we're going to keep up this run of form till the end of the season, because 9 games is a long, long time when you're playing 1 game a week, especially under an interim manager, if we're being honest. So I don't know, man. Chelsea, where do they go from here? Because next summer, if they don't pattern up and actually sign some good players, and when I say good players, I don't just mean young prospects, I mean actual experience. If they don't sign 2 good attackers to play out wide ahead of Cole Palmer and back up for João Pedro, and then a good centre-back partner for Wesley Fofana and Levi Colwill when he inevitably starts ahead of Fofana because of injuries or vice versa, I think Chelsea could be a team that descends into mediocrity. I've said many times this season, contrary to that video I made over a year ago, that Chelsea, to me, just look like a rich Brighton now. They look like a team that is more interested in flipping assets than they are in actually winning trophies. And it's a shame. It's a shame because of who Chelsea were under Roman Abramovich versus where they are now. It's honestly a shame. But if you did make it this far in the video, let me know what you think in the comments down below. It's been your boy Triple M. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you are new and leave a like on the video. Peace!